tough game and they sub him out. I'm with Wadid on this one. I don't know if this is necessarily going to be the best way to get your mental back on here and win game 3. This is such an opportunity for Nongshim. I cannot stress this enough. They need this win desperately, and to take out the second-place team would be massive. They don't have their AD carry in, and if you flub this, it is going to feel so bad. So much pressure on Pleta. Like, Lehends is obviously not going to feel great about being subbed out, but Pleta probably a little nervous about being subbed in because it's a huge responsibility.
Yeah, a lot of eyes on him as well, just given the situation. It's like, oh, he's being subbed in for game 3. Better not mess it up. You know, if he gets subbed in and has a fantastic performance, people would be like, well, I guess, you know, there was a little bit of meaning to this. You know, maybe he's really playing well. If he doesn't play well, it'll be the exact opposite. A lot more questions being thrown at the coaching staff, etc. Always a fun time. We are getting into the draft here for game 3, though.
Yes. Cassiopeia banned for a 3rd time here. Orianna will remain
OP.
The Rumble also, one more time, banned, so not going to be seeing that one in this series. Lulu is gone. Yunara is gone. Caitlyn stock's way up. And so they're just going to first pick it here for Diable. Well, looks quite bored by the situation. It is getting a bit late here. It's a 6-gamer.
Yeah.
As the response here is what I'm most curious about. Bard has been untouched in this series. As it's just going to be a Pantheon here, but with what? I thought maybe we'd see a Vi pick into the Caitlyn, but instead, just locking down Cuzz's Pantheon. Had a great Pantheon performance against Honor Life eSports. Karma. They took the Caitlyn away from you.
Yeah.
And Bard is available. This doesn't feel that strong to me.
I mean, I suppose they'll just play Jin Karma, but Kate Bard, very strong. TF going to back it up.
Jin also quite scary to play on stage in this situation for FenRir. It's similar. I mean, it's similar to the Misfortune in that you're kind of following the play. This is a little different. I had forgotten that the Jarvan's just not in the picture here. Sivir actually works incredibly well with Karma, even though we haven't seen this lane work as well as it has been discussed so many times to do, just because it has great wave clear all throughout the game. He has played 1 game of Sivir this year. Just one. 1-0, though.
I mean, he looked pretty okay with it. He's like, yeah, give me the Sivir.
That was his first Misfortune game of the year as well. Played it in Season 16. The Wukong will be taken away here from the Twisted Fate. Pretty strong heads up with any sort of setup CC. I think the Vi is probably the next option I'd be most concerned about. They banned the Ahri. Still think Vi very good with this draft here for Nongshim RedForce. Very simple to play, very single target focused. Jace, however, there is a high priority on range top laners right now in Game 3 of Fearless, just because it's more stable.
Mm-hmm. Also, final counter pick to KT, so don't want to give a stable blind pick here to Kingen, I suppose.
Yeah, there's no Sion, there's no Cassante. There's no Varus, so the Jack span is a little surprising. Is it going to be BDD pulling out his pick here, and then we get like maybe perfect getting the Zaahen angle at the end or something like that? Feels like where we're headed. The Taliyah feels really good in this draft because you have the Pantheon already, so you have double global. And you have so much speed as well with Karma and Sivir to run around the map. Makes the Zaahen pick feel even stronger. Is it going to be the blind Yorick?
Okay.
And then Sponge's jungle pick will be the final choice to come through here.
Kind of the big mainstays already taken away, including a couple of bans. Skarner.
Skarner does kind of... Skarner's combos with Tempered Fate, if timed correctly, can be incredibly strong. See Skarner's win rate. He hasn't seen that many games yet, but it's rising up right now. Is at 70%. This seems so obvious, right? Because it's perfect. It's one of his best picks. Works incredibly well with Pantheon, Sivir. You just go in, and then the Sivir follows up. But the Sivir can also speed you up so you can get on top of the targets you want to get on top of. There's one true damage threat here for Nongshim RedForce. It's the Caitlyn. A Twisted Fate will do some damage. Obviously, in the right circumstances, Yorick will as well. Even if you hit a multi-man Skarner Impale, you know, it's one Q can AoE through that for Diable, but he's otherwise just single target AD carry trying to pick people off. I kind of like the draft here of KT much more if they can pilot it well, if the laning phase goes in a stable way. Sivir also great into Bard because she can spell shield the Tempered Fate in the first place as well as his binding. So
Or the gold card.
Gold card. I think KT have almost all the answers here. They just need to execute. I'm going to enjoy this nuggery.
I think BDD has gone off the rails with that one. Boiling the boiling the raccoon a little bit too far. But it does make sense. As BDD back on his Taliyah Pantheon, the combo coming through for these two. And Nongshim going to pull out a great pick comp and some great side laning, but a lot of pressure on Diable to do some carrying here in the damage department. As let's jump onto the rift for game number 3. Alrighty. Game number 3 on the cards. Game number 6 of the night. You know, he had such a long streak of 2-0s back-to-back. So many days in a row.
Almost had a full week of 4 gamers.
Yeah. And then QMDRX won game 1 against HLE.
Which was crazy, but that's what they do.
Yeah.
Maybe we shouldn't have been surprised.
They just win games. Much like T1 like to drop games here and now. You know, QMDRX like to take games then and again. So kind of makes sense when the two of them faced off that we were going to get a 3-gamer.
Well, when I saw the news right after the first series that FenRir was playing, my first thought was, because we've had this kind of ongoing, where are the 6-gamers? Where are my friends' eye drops?
Yeah.
Does this make it more or less likely that we have a 6-gamer? And I was kind of leaning towards more, because I favor KT heavily in this matchup, but with a rookie AD carry in, you never know what's going to happen. And I think that kind of came true, right, with how Game 1 went. But Game 2, they simplify. Game 3, can they have a great draft, but it's going to be about the execution. And so far in this lane, Valdes has been finding his electrocutes pretty well here. If we're just waiting for his next mantra. Ooh, spell shield here for tempo. Will not really work out.
Oh, nice combo here from BDD. Gonna find Scout in an awkward spot. Doesn't quite have kill pressure because, well, he's Taliyah and he's eventually just gonna walk away. Well, Scout should be okay. But yeah, I also heavily favor KT's comp. I don't think that, you know, essentially one-threat compositions are really a thing unless you're going to run like a Kog'Maw. I know that Caitlyn late games have been insane nowadays. We just saw a great example of it with Pays against Gen G in a 50-plus minute game where he essentially, you know, he was 6-7 item, 80 carry, and really popped off. We are going to have a gank up here on the top side. Perfect, trying to get to his passive. Just going to flash away and let Cuzz handle it from here. I think Kingen has also kind of accepted his fate. Still going to try and fight him, and a lot of ghouls are coming out here. It's a cue to miss, and Kingen's like, oh, maybe I can make something of this. That's not going to hit as well. A lot of things are just straight up missing, but the knockup comes in, and first blood is given over to Cuzz.
Really easy for Cuzz to get that empowered Q there to finish as well. Pantheon's so strong in the early game, especially when he could proc his maximum range, or maximum charged abilities multiple times in the fight. It's often about his burst damage with just one of them, but in the 2v1 where he could do it multiple times, feels much better. As we do see the call to come through here for FenRir. Same for Diable, who actually has boots advantage. Here, coming into the lane. The later back timing. BDD got that early shove, but wasn't able to turn it into a tangible advantage here. And naturally, Twisted Fate will get more money with his passive. But it hasn't happened really just yet. And I think for KT Rolster, just like game number 1, the main thing is just don't fall too far behind. And in game 2, it was like, make sure you're ahead the whole time. And that didn't happen, but they were able to wrestle it back.
Yeah. It just feels like some of the rules are being broken in a series that is this wonky. You got the subbed-in kind of newbie AD carry, totally new to the LCK. Even totally new to Challengers this year. As you mentioned, he played in Kespa Cup, but that was like online tournament when he was playing, and just doesn't have a whole lot of stage experience compared to some of the other guys on the Rift.
Yeah, I mean, I want to remind people that, like, back in basically post-franchising and with the Challengers system that was updated, you weren't allowed to sub Challengers players in unless they were part of the official roster for so long. You had to submit them. You had to wait till round 2 in the old LCK system. Now you could do it any time. And it's only very recently that teams have been willing to actually play these musical chairs sub games. As BDD does not have ult, but he is up here with his passive, can surf around Kingen, who has no flash.
Yeah, he's going to miss the shove, but Perfect is on top of Kingen, and that Ghouliewall doing a lot of work against the Taliyah, but eventually Kingen gets pulled back by the Zaahen, and they're going to just give the kill over to BDD.
Cuzz is going to defend mid. Now, Sponge is getting this dragon, but Scout shouldn't be able to get too much in the mid lane. Actually, doesn't even get that plate. Maybe eventually gets it. Oh! I think he got it.
We're seeing this bottom lane very stable. Diable a slight lead.
Ooh, he lost his flash. BD got his ult. He hit level 6. And
but did he get the plate? Yes, he did.
But
that's really all that matters, Wolf.
Okay, gotcha. I was kind of thinking about like the value of Twisted Fate's flash gold card potential, but you put me in my place, you know? It's the plate value. That's where it's really at.
Yeah, even if he died.
By the way, you know, 0-0-0, gold lead because of the plate.
Yep.
And the TF passive, but because of the plate.
Because of the plate. That's really all that matters. Scout knows where his bread is buttered.
Yeah, speaking of gold leads, this Caitlyn lane is kind of pushing. And they did. That's the one part of this draft that can have problems, is the early laning phase, because yes, they got the Karma and the Sivir, but there's a Bard lane here. And their jungler has been topside for a lot of this game. Is also pretty heavily out-farmed by Sponge in this one, since he's been spending so much time going for these ganks.
Yeah. I think it's a pretty good idea, especially with how successful that early gank was from Cuzz, just to revisit and try to get Perfect into a really good spot. And also just your entire top side of the map into a really good spot, because even if FenRir falls behind, you know, he's still an AD carry player. He's playing Sivir. If this goes late, I'm sure he can auto-attack some dudes. You know? Like, just try not to die.
Did you just
hit the Skarner?
Did you just basically say that's what AD carries do, you know? Like,
I'm just saying, like, that's kind of the basic function, right? And even if he's nervous, even if he's, like, not playing his best game, even if he falls behind, I would expect him to at least be able to do, you know, late game Sivir things. That's all I'm saying.
I know. I just wanted to try to make it seem like you were slandering how simple it is to be an AD carry. Sivir, in particular, is quite... that was very funny. Is in particular quite easy to kind of scale and ricochet. BDD.
This is a very aggressive play on a BDD, but should be able to make this work, you would imagine. He already flashed, and there he gets knocked to the wall. Scout, though, gets a turret shot and dies. Not even sure why he walked into range of that, but maybe he had to dodge something. Here comes effort. And yeah, they are on the hunt. Nice little magical journey. A Sponge going to flash into that one.
That's actually going to cost them some money in the bottom lane, committing that far to try to get the follow-up there. BD waits till the last possible second to flash here and buffers the card, but Sponge is ready. Like, you can see the Sponge already expected the flash angle and already had his Impale angled. But Scout...
He got knocked in to the turret, actually. I missed that. So that makes a lot more sense than him just walking at the turret.
No, I don't think he planned on walking in. Just got a little bit knocked in, like you said. And that's kind of problematic, but the kill goes over to the Pantheon. So Cuzz is still going to be a menace in this early game. And Diable got a plate while FenRir and Effort tried to come up and punish further. Magical Journey got them away, but it was totally fine. Perfect shouldn't be allowed to play Zaahen. I think teams should be not banning his Jace if this is how it's going to look. The Yorick was blind also, which I think is fine into Zaahen. Like, it's not like the Zaahen is the counter to the Yorick, but Perfect just got his hands on what he wanted, which was already so perfect for this comp. There is no Sivir ult here. Pleta is aware of that. So he should be able to get away just fine. Needs to get some minions. Like more than 72 of them.
Yeah, they're trying to set something up here. The wall comes down. Pleta kind of in an awkward spot, but he's just able to flash away. BDD is kind of tanking everything. The double impale comes in. They immediately get punished. As now we have a interesting magical journey. Not really going to help out all too much as FenRir's going to pick up a kill, and we have a TP now coming in. As the TF will join up in this one effort, trying to take out Diable. Might be able to, needs one more auto or one more Q, but he's not able to, and he also had the barrier, so not going to happen. As FenRir and Cuzz should be able to walk out alive.
Yeah, it almost feels like Sponge could have been killed there, but Cuzz doesn't have flash, so can't get on top of him to set up the empowered stun or anything like that, and it is just going to be a retreat here. I'm not entirely sure, like, we look at this setup, initially it looks like, aha, we've got the jump on them. They won't know. And then Pleta just kind of walks it off, flashes away. Cuzz's ult angle here isn't onto the prio target. The prio target is Diable. And Diable is untouched. And he is Caitlyn, so guess what? He's actually able to do a lot of damage over the wall as an AD carry here. And then Diable also lives because he's able to flash late here in the fight. And when Effort tries to go for it, he has barriers, so it looks really sad. He was going to die no matter what, so
yeah.
Scout was going to kill him otherwise.
Uh-oh. This time, though, no sums here on Diable, playing a little bit over-aggressive. Going to get stunned and kind of hounded by everybody on the side of KT. Everybody except Perfect, of course. Pleta takes a huge amount of damage as well. But yeah, kind of awkward positioning for Diable, and that's just going to be the Drake over to KT.
Yeah, Pleta's ult there just wasn't really going to do him any favors because it made sure that BDD was going to get the follow-up shove. And it should be one dragon apiece. And Scout, nothing he can do about this. Pleta's going to magical journey his way down as fast as possible. FenRir's getting plates in the mid lane. I've commentated so many Nongshim games recently, and win or lose, the game state is always wild. Like, there's some moments for Nongshim where you feel like they're super calculated, they're playing through Scout's TF, and everything is globally connected. And other times, just people get caught and it looks like there wasn't a plan or the communication was poor on where the enemies are, and you just come out of a replay and suddenly it's like, oh, well, Diable's dead. Weird how that's all going down.
Yeah.
And KT were super far behind in some respects earlier on in the game, and the AD carry advantage for Diable was so huge, and now it's only 200 gold here. Perfect, by the way, just silently stacking money.
Yeah, he's doing his job. Just sit top lane and essentially use the lead that he has to get even more fed. It's going to be a mid-game powerhouse. He and, the Pantheon, I suppose. FenRir's taking a lot of damage, but a red card comes in, and Scout's like, uh-oh, my team left me. Where did everybody go? I thought we were diving 2 turrets. And they were until they weren't. And Scout kind of left there to hold the bag.
Yeah, that was very forced. Like, both teams have globals, but KT have 2 globals. Oh. So I guess I should say both teams have at least a global. Pleta.
Magical Journey not going to do him any favors as he will go down.
What's happening, Valdes?
Well, they're caught. Diable still doesn't have flash, so I'm sure he's going to be asking himself that same question. And yeah, Perfect comes on down from top lane. This seemed like a very natural time for him to show up.
This is like what happened in game 2, except like a little bit early, where Nongshim just keep going to KT's side of the map very deeply. And KT very deeply wants them to do that so they can actually get back in the game and force these fights with all the CC they have. So starting with this one, like, we're deep on Krugs. Look who's in the mid lane. BDD has Weaver's Wall, and Cuzz, who's a Pantheon, and Scout is between turrets, and the rest of the team is like, oh, guess that's probably not a thing. And then over here, we're just like, they're like, well, we got to keep forcing and take everything we can on the map. And I understand the theory. I understand the fear. Because the comp of KT is so good in the late game. We've already discussed all the reasons why, so they feel like they have to force, but is constantly way too far forward. A Zaahen walking out of the jungle is probably something that shouldn't be happening.
But is caught here once again. Not sure how he managed this. I mean, there's a lot of vision set up around here for KT. And there's not even a Drake about to spawn, so I feel like just kind of a straight-up mistake. We'll have to wait and see. I don't even know if we're going to be able to jump into a replay with how many things are going on.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I gotta live in the present a little bit here. Sponge is not that tanky, given some time here for FenRir, but does have a smite button. Kind of feel like right now for Nongshim, as painful as it is, you're probably going to look for pinch plays only.
They're going to try to go for BDD. A lot of KT is here, though. The Impale only going to hit the Pantheon. They don't have the damage to get through them because Diable's the only source of damage. And now he's kind of isolated up on the top side here. Rest of Nongshim trying to get away. Perfect is level 12, and he is ready to throw down. Spun's going to get through the wall, but TF and Bard can't quite do that. TP is going to come in. Grim Deliverance going to take out the Bard here once again. FenRir looks like he got pretty low on the left side there. Not sure exactly what happened, but
TP'd Kingen in.
Yeah.
I thought the whole thing about this fight for Nongshim was maybe we get a pick, otherwise we buy some time and our Yorick gets bounty gold on the top side. But I guess they had other ideas, because there's a massive wave that's going to go into that turret on the top side, but it's not going to be giving plates or bounties over to the side of Nongshim. They're all here. Look at the map. I think this is desperate shot calling here from Nongshim. And I'll tell you my opinion, because I don't know what's going on internally in this roster, but I feel like when Lehends is in this roster, sometimes they send it a little bit too deep, but it feels like the overall messaging for their dives and for their map movements is a little more clear than what I'm seeing in this game here. Is Blood is 1 and 4. Scout is caught.
yeah, at least Sponge is going to come over here and try to peel a little bit. Mikhail's just come down. They're going to find BDD into the Impale as well. They do get a shutdown there, as this time it's KT's turn to send it a little bit too far, as here goes Pleta on the chase. FenRir here trying to play, but he gets flashed on and killed. Not like this, FenRir. So now the ult comes in, but he will survive. But yeah, KT, what are we doing?
I don't know. I don't know what is going on.
Please analyze.
Well, we've been every time we come out of a replay, all the critical information has been missed. So I don't know, but we'll see exactly why they were this far up. Okay, so they were trying to ult Scout. BDD doesn't have ult though, so he can't get here fast enough. Sponge and Pleta come over, and there's so much time buy in this Skarner and this Bard. BDD gets caught. And now they're not winning the numbers game the way they were. Really easy to follow up with Skarner, like we mentioned on the Twisted or on the Tempered Fate. And with a single target like that, and you have the answers there. FenRir, I think, should have left long ago. I think when he should have been like, "I'm sorry, Effort. I know you're my new best friend. We're lane partners today, but I'm gonna have to let you die." But instead, he dies. Effort miraculously survives, but okay. So when the dust settles, Diable is kind of getting out of the trough. He has his IE. He has 1,200 gold ahead. The BDD lead has shrunk massively, and it's really only Perfect who has the big lead here for KT. I still think functionally this comp, really good for KT, really easy to play in the late game. But from what I saw in that top side play, maybe a little bit more finesse is required. When it comes to straight up 5v5s on objectives, that's where it gets a little bit simpler. But when it's a Chemtech Soul and we're one Drake apiece, it can get a little murky as to whether or not you want to fight for those or whether you're going to be setting up for those. Empowered recall here for Sponge, who does have Herald, but doesn't necessarily want to use it.
I don't know, it's just like amongst all the action, stuff like that happens. It's just such a silly game so far. Trying to back in front of the Gromp, who's just like, no, what? This is my turf. Gromp is very protective of his area.
Yeah.
I still feel like KT should be okay.
I think so, but like I feel like I don't know anything, right? After watching this game.
That's why when I was like, analyze Wolf, it's a joke because I really just don't envy your position. Because there's nothing really to break down. It's just chaos.
Everything about the reason why we think KT are in a good spot, we mentioned in the draft. And I thought that if we were at 18 minutes and they only had 1,000 gold at the lead, they'd be in a better spot. I thought if they were 1,000 gold at the deficit here, that wouldn't be enough of a lead for Nongshim, but I'm not sure anymore, as Perfect is probably going to get Tempered Fated here. TP is going to come over. He might have to flash it.
Nice. He's been dodging quite a lot. I mean, he's not quite able to build up this passive, just trying to dash out of this one. He's going to go Grim into the sky. And he does get away.
But it doesn't even commit the Tempered Fate there. Perfect doesn't have to flash, but he does lose his ult. Thing is, there's no objective, so with his teleport available, I don't think he really cares that much. In fact, he's going to look for a flanker to try to punish Scout and Diable. The Herald will charge, but will they be able to get out safely is the question. Cuzz has his ult as well, and here comes BDD.
Just going to be looking for Diable here, trying to get him out, but the flash, the knock pulls him back. Effort. Oh, perfect. He gets the assassination, and that's going to be the end of Sponge 2 here in the mid lane.
The denial of the magical journey coming through. Perfect saved his flash. And now Cuzz is going to try to catch Kingen here. Perfect's going to be mid lane. He's going to be bot lane.
He's got to get over to Perfect as the Glop is going to hit him, and Kingen takes him down, but keeps him in position for long enough for Perfect to finish the good job, I suppose. As now this Zaahen is gigantic. 2,000 gold ahead.
Already was pretty ahead.
Yeah.
But yeah, he is starting to really hit in these team fights. This Ravenous Hydra. So, I don't even want to blame Nongshim for this because it's a flank ward that was set up way earlier on that Perfect is able to get on. And then Diable thought he's safe because he's got a Bard, they got Magical Journey, and Sponge is just left out to dry. None of this is his fault, really. Just a really good punish here from KT. This, you know, little bit, I think he was hoping that maybe they could save the turret there, but if he just waits until Perfect is closer, they get the kill and he doesn't die. We get the flash out of Kingen as well, so still feels like a win, but they couldn't deny the turret, and Cuzz did die, somewhat unnecessarily. And the Dragon timer is still 2 minutes.
Assassin Taliyah. Just get a rocket pellet and you can be an assassin on anything, I guess.
Remember Gale Force?
Yeah. What if that was still around and we just had like people building both? It's like, no, I just have 2 dashes. You can't catch me. It is a Chemtech Soul, by the way. I don't know if you really touched on this.
No, yeah, just briefly. It's not that important, which is why it's more action sides a lot of the time, but it's not up for 90 seconds anyways. It's Pleta.
Whew. We can always just K-Ram, you know? Just sit in mid lane and see what happens.
Well, I think if you're KT, you absolutely can, because you have so much power in this comp right now with the Sivir wave clear. The waves just disappear, and you take this turret out. Like, you win the K-Ram, especially when the Yorick is in the side lane. That's a 5v4 you'll take every day. I mean, also Scout trying to get some value here on the top side of the map. Maybe given enough space here to get this turret, but it's just too risky with Pantheon and Taliyah on the other side. So the double globals have been winning out on the map here for KT, but it's been punished plays from both teams that have really been the main story here. Speaking of, maybe Sponge could set something up here. The turret is taken out, and BDD is just going to leave, of course. So Baron is the thing that I think we were most concerned about. Chemtech Dragon, pretty good for Zaahen, by the way, but otherwise not necessarily the most important thing on the map. As BDD is still the focus here, as Nongshim are grouped on Baron but can't do it. Like, there's just no way they can start this up. Once Perfect gets TP, he can join if they wanted to. There's a small window of time before he has it, but I think that window is too small to try to set something up. They are clearing the vision, but I think that's the most they can really get at this point in time. This game is tense because it does feel like even though KT have such control over how team fights can go 5v5, a lot of this game has not been about that. It's been about these scrappy catches of Diable by Perfect on the flank, or overextensions from FenRir, or, you know, the Pantheon combo isn't working out. Very bizarre, but Diable is very strong in this game as well. And KT are just going to get this Dragon. They have that ward on the Baron, so they know it's not being taken, and Perfect does have his TP back. So they can very easily do this. Nongshim are just, unfortunately, find themselves sitting ducks here. They can't dive BDD, and they can't start Baron, so they just end up losing the objective here. Not the end of the world, but definitely not a benefit.
Yeah. No, it doesn't feel good to lose a Drake, for sure. And, yeah, I mean, they're just kind of hanging around. You know, in theory, if the Yorick had a better matchup, you'd have, like, a TF in a side lane. You've got, like, a Kingen in the side lane with the Yorick, who's able to win some of these 1v1s, and you would have like a 1-3-1 with the Caitlyn core.
If you had a mid that did a lot of damage, you could do the Baron and look for a turn. Perfect might be too far forward.
Yeah, very nice ward there on the disengage cone. He is still Zaahen, though. They're going to chase him down big time here, all three.
Baron is on the cards here for KT at the same time.
Yeah, they can just start it. Nice pullback there at the last second as well. Now, Sponge is here, though, so the TP comes in and KT say, you know what? We're not going to take any chances just yet.
So funny how Nongshim's hesitation ended up paying off. And then KT are the ones to pull the trigger on Baron after they lose Perfect, but they can't do it fast enough. And just like that, Nongshim have the gold lead. And the push here in mid to take out the inner. This Yorick is still somewhat unanswered with Crystalline here. Kingen's going to get one shovel whack and a lot of money in his wallet if he can touch that turret, but he does play passively. I thought that the better play than to try to collapse on the Perfect here, as this is, like you mentioned, a great ward.
Got him.
The best play I thought for Nongshim was to try to look for like a turn on Baron, try to force a teleport. Instead, they're just like, all right, well, looks like Perfect's not interested in leaving this lane. We'll go to him. And while they do this, they leave the jungler on the other side. And KT are just too timid to try to start the Baron, and to try to kill Sponge would just take way too long and mess up their whole setup. So they make the right call. BDD has a Leandries now. He does a lot of damage, and actually has a lot of long-term damage to cut through the Skarner too. But we're really looking for that IE for FenRir. That's the key piece that's missing for KT's easy-to-execute, air quotes, comp that we have been talking about so much. He's got Glutinous Greaves. He is going to be such a huge threat once that item is complete, but it isn't yet. Almost there, he's got to be.
Yeah, and I still feel like he can just, again, build some items.
Stand in the right place and click on the enemies and press A and click on the ground.
You're playing Sivir, clear the waves, don't die, and just ricochet your way to victory and allow Perfect to carry you a little bit as well. I think that's fine. You're a new guy in the LCK. Let's just do that. You know, you don't have to put the whole team on your back. Just make sure you're in a relatively safe position, ricocheting. And
I'm not asking that much of you. If it were just in game 3 of a really pivotal game for us, where we may or may not lose second place in a 26-minute game where it's a dead even game state, just, you know, kind of like stand in the right spot and kind of do that ricochet thing.
Just don't mess it up, okay?
Just kill everything and play perfectly, and don't get gold carded or impaled or pushed into the wall by the Skarner or ghoulie walled or tempered faded.
Yeah.
It's okay, you got
a spell shield. Yeah, you're fine. Mikhail's
available. Shirelia's.
Flash?
By the way, they got Shirelia's on Karma, which is, you know, 2 crazy amounts of movement. They have on the Hunt. Imagine if it was Cloud Soul.
Yeah.
This team is zooming, and they should be able to get on top of their prio target, Diable, if they can get in the position where they can look for a turn, which I think would be fairly simple if they felt confident to go on Baron and look for the said turn. Instead, they're kind of fighting around river here. Perfect is on the flank angle, doesn't have flash, but is going to find Kingen.
Yeah, he's just going to have to flash out of there, but the pullback once again. Flash on him from Effort, trying to make a play. And there comes the root as well. BD comes on over, and the whole squad is here. As in goes the Grim Deliverance, going to zone away Pleta. And the rest of the team just pulls the escape hatch and gets out there. But now we got a TP coming in. This is very aggressive, but you got the Pantheon able to get on in. Scout in a lot of trouble here, as Diable trying to peel just as much as he possibly can. Sponge doing the same, but the knockup comes in into the Taliyah, the stun from the Pantheon, and even Sponge, they're able to get through. And that's all they had to do.
Finding a Yorick in the jungle, I guess, was all it needed to be for KT Rolster to start dismantling Nongshim and look for this Baron. And maybe your theory about, you know, just be Sivir and sit back and do the damage was correct.
I think he really did anything.
He got the kill. He killed him.
He did, yeah, he did. I mean, he's doing a good job. He's doing his best. This is going to be the Baron, and KT surely from here. From 28 minutes into the game, your Sivir got your IE.
With the Sivir with IE, with Baron and wave
stand in the right place.
Maybe this might just like push the minions towards the enemy base.
Yeah.
Obviously, Valdes and I are joking a lot. Nongshim will get the second dragon of the game for them, which will be our 5th dragon overall. It's a solo Chemtech dragon. Chemtech, in terms of the shields, kind of valuable here for both teams in terms of individual dragons. But again, not the big story here. Is Effort flashing to get this root. One of the big difference makers is Sponge wants to try to turn this. They utilize the Tempered Fate to try to buy space, almost like a Zhonya's here. But there's just no follow-up, and the Blast Cone retreat is on. And then Scout is left a little bit on his lonesome. Cuzz is like, well, I still have ult, by the way. I didn't use that to get into the last fight. He gets pushed away, and then Sponge ends up getting caught by the knock-up here. This follow-up from BDD, insane.
I was just watching the mini-map.
Yeah?
Seeing where FenRir was at. He did get there at the end. And in live, we actually did see Nongshim try to go for a bit of a play onto Perfect, of all people, in the mid lane. They tried to collapse onto him, and he just kind of dashed away, and
now he's killing the turret.
That's all he had to do. I mean, they didn't even get his flash, so the collapse definitely didn't work with the TF and the Skarner. It's a little knockback.
Look at how easy
here.
it is to hit one person and then just chain that CC together. Even Effort's flash root is quite valuable in that sense. I guess they're going to zone here and maybe clear traps. That was kind of an interesting ult there from BDD. Not even going to clear those traps, too risky. Just going to keep pushing mid.
Yeah, looking for picks as well. I mean, Sponge is trying to set up position where maybe, you know, he can get someone to the wall and an impale, but he's too low.
For FenRir, so he's just making this cannon minion constantly hit the turret. And now a new wave's going to come through. Perfect did enough to where these minions will finish off the inhibitor. The second inhibitor turret is down, and now they can push through the traps. And now the siege is real. Kingen and crew are in trouble. Nongshim are in such dire straits here.
Yeah, I mean, they just don't really have much of a plan as they're trying to get BDD here on the trap. Maybe that's the play, and the headshot does come through for Diable. Maybe going to be good, and now the impale on the Perfect, who's a little bit too deep. Gonna get that res.
They're gonna back out.
Yeah, and with the trap coming in, I mean, Grim Deliverance coming down. He's doing quite a lot, looking for some kills. 1v5, literally. Not quite able to get it done.
Perfect is good, guys. I just want to remind everyone of that. It's crazy, the trajectory of this player. Went from Rumble Udyr to Trick here in the LCK to world finalist to performances like this. I want to pick that is fringe meta, but it's kind of perfect meta. Just want to put it out
5-0 on this pick.
5-0, gets the res here, goes for the ult because he's going to die no matter what anyways. It's the impale first, and hits 4 members. Crazy, while the rest of his team retreats freely. There's no punish. And the game continues. Perfect, by the way, you know, probably a little bit unsurprising, even though there's a Sivir in this game and it is 31 minutes in. It's like, nah, it's me. Lost our connection on the global broadcast to the feed for just a moment, but it's back.
We're back.
I said it out loud because I panicked.
Yeah, it was a little scary there, but it's okay. We're back in the action. And it's crazy that, you know, KT just took down 2 inhibitors. They got Baron, they got all these things. Still only about 2,000 gold ahead. You know, it's like, just feels like neither team has really been able to make a big gap in gold or difference.
Honestly, I mean, it's all the perfect gap. As Sponge, once again, 1 CC leads to the next as he misses the impale.
And not gonna pull anyone in there at the wall. Once again, for zoning up on the top side. And it looks like KT just going for the old-fashioned take down every structure and win the game.
It's just the way KT have played this game is like, just don't mess it up. And FenRir does a lot of damage, but we're not going to play through that. We're going to play through this massive Zaahen instead. So the game looks a little bit weird, but if FenRir just clears the waves and does his job that way, it's enough to open the whole base up. There's nothing left but 1 Nexus turret here for Nongshim RedForce.
KT now, can they put the nail in the coffin? As they get the knockback there, they have so much follow-up in terms of CC. FenRir going to be hit by the Tempered Fate, but in goes Perfect. He says, get down, Mr. FenRir, I'll protect you. As they take down Diable, and that's all they had to do. And Perfect's just, he's 1v4 underneath the Nexus turret, doesn't care at all. As BDD with a double knockback, beautiful stuff. And that'll be, it looks like the end of this game, although some health bars getting low. The one person who is not dying at all is Perfect. As we still have this wave that is going to come in.
Yeah, I think there's no way Scout can get anything done here. He is just so dead.
Even in the dying gasps of this game, of Gnome it's like, yeah, KT just barely get across the line, but it's still a victory. A clean 2-1. Right? Okay, there's the... clean 2-1! Nothing to see here from KT Rolster as they take down Gnome with their emergency sub.
Is it a perfect palm or is it an effort palm? It is so tough for
both for FenRir.
I'm not